Bonjour, salut! The best things are always made of the finest ingredients. Just a touch of this and a touch of that. C'est parfait! So how about a touch of France? Join us as we discover France, its people and its culture. Also, find out about the touch of France here in Ghana. French companies, French culture, and of course the French language. Parlez-vous français? Hey! Learn, explore, and experience a touch of France. France is a popular destination for professional expatriates as many multinational companies have situated their headquarters there. Whereas different opportunities may have influenced their choice to settle in France, infrastructures, healthcare standards, quality and cost of living are also part of the equation. When moving to another country for work, one must be prepared. It is important to have an understanding of the workplace etiquette in a new environment to help with a seamless transition. Even for those with a lot of experience in the job role and their industry, the new workplace culture can take some adapting to. You may ask, what is it like to work in France? What is it like to work for a company with France? Let's learn about all that right here in A Touch of France.
Hello, bonjour, welcome, bienvenue to Touch of France, the show that tells you all about France and France in Ghana. Today, we are going to talk about business, work and business in France, between France and Ghana. And to talk about that, I'm not in my regular Café de France. I'm here at Jubilee House. Because guess what? My guest for today is no other than the President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Akufo-Addo. Did you know he spoke French? Did you know he was working in France up to a point? I'll ask him all about this. Come with me, we'll have a very interesting conversation with the President. Let's go to Jubilee House. Welcome on Touch of France, the show that tells you about France and France in Ghana. And today I am blessed with being welcomed by the President of Ghana here in this very room where I presented my credentials. Isn't that amazing? Mr. President, thank you so much for having me.
Well, I'm touched by your inviting me. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we will talk about France and your experience of France, but the French-Ghanaian relations lately, since 2017, have known a huge boom since President Macron was the first French president to come. Is that when it actually started?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the relations with France have been good for a long time, but obviously the arrival of the first sitting French president in our country was definitely a milestone. And I was very privileged that it should have happened, and it happened very early on
under your office.
in my mandate, that I was the first Ghanaian president to welcome a sitting French president to Ghana. Is a big, I think, feather in my cap, and I enjoyed the experience very much.
And Emmanuel Macron chose you then in 2019 during your presidential visit to address the diaspora. Did you understand it the way that France wants to cooperate with Africa, precisely the way Ghana wants to cooperate with France?
But I think that that has been at the center of the relationship. And it makes sense for both of us. We are an English-speaking island.
Yeah, indeed.
Essentially a French sea. Our western border, our eastern border, our northern border are all French-speaking countries. Official language is French, and we're right there in the middle. The south is the Atlantic. So it makes a lot of sense for us to have a special relationship with those countries, and of course with France as well. So it's the reason, for instance, for our interest in La Francophonie. It makes a lot of geopolitical sense for us in Ghana. These are our immediate neighbors. And for us to be able to relate with them in a meaningful way, we ought to get beyond language. I dislike intensely this francophone, anglophone, or these distinctions that there are of language amongst us as Africans. We have all of us to be ambidextrous. We should all be polyglots.
Absolutely. Which you already are, somehow.
But it should be, I shouldn't be an exception. It should be the population, so that we can deal with each other easily and directly.
Fluently.
And language is a very important instrument for serious communication between any people. So it makes a lot of sense for us to have a privileged relationship with our neighbors, and of course also with France, which continues to have a great deal of influence in our area.
Well, you went to France and you lived and worked in France.
For 5 years.
5 years?
As a young man, yeah.
So when was that exactly?
At the very beginning of the 1970s. I went to France in 1970, in the last year of Georges Pompidou's presidency.
Right.
Yes.
That was my next question. So I thought I would trick you with who was the president? Yes.
Georges Pompidou.
Yes.
And I mean, as a Ghanaian who was educated in England, that had been the exposure, all the experience was English related, and I thought I should have experience of another European civilization before finally coming back to Ghana. And
so it was a choice.
It was a choice.
You thought you wanted a second European country.
I thought that experience would be good, and France made a lot of sense to me for the same reasons as I gave. All our neighbors are French, and I thought that it would make somebody, because right from the beginning I always intended a political career.
Oh, you thought of it?
Yes,
so you thought that you were actually accumulating assets for this political...
to make that experience. I come from a very political family.
Yes.
Yes.
Which surprised me that you went to France in 1970, because actually the leader here, the head of state at that time...
Was my father.
Was your father.
A little bit also to escape all of that.
Oh yeah, like we all do when we're young.
Yes, yes.
So when you arrived in France, did you know France before? Or is it with first visit?
Yes, I'd been there a couple of times as a student in London. I'd gone, like all of us do, for every now and then for a weekend in Paris and all of that.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed the idea that I was going to go and work there. And I was fortunate. A very famous and very well established American law firm was good enough to offer me a job
in Paris.
In Paris as conseil juridique, as they were known in those days in Paris. Those of us
it was the very beginning of a career of a lawyer when you begin as a conseiller juridique.
Absolutely, and I began it in France.
Right.
It was an extraordinary experience for me because the firm was the main law firm for the major American companies that were doing business in Europe, in France and in Europe. So you found that the big American multinational companies, Ford, Lockheed, Bank of America, Citibank, all of these were clients of Couder. And it gave me a big insight into how those corporations work and the mindset that animates them. They also had important French
companies,
especially those who had a lot of international exposure, like Marcel Dassault. The French aviation company was a client of Couder's as well.
And one of your clients was also a wine company, or is it?
Yes, Lillet.
Yeah. What struck you the most when you for the very first time when you settled down in France? What was your biggest amazement compared to what you had lived in Ghana, but also in England?
In England.
I
mean, what is difficult to escape in Paris? In Paris, of course, is the architecture, the structure of the city, the blend between the old and the new. is seamless in France.
What did you take away from this experience in France?
Firstly, of course, from the work side, an understanding a little bit of the dynamics of international economic intercourse, the considerations that motivated the great companies of the world in search of markets, in search of natural resources, how they thought and went about it, was one very important. Secondly, of course, having exposure to French civilization and to be able to understand the dynamics of the cultivation of France was also, and of course, thirdly, being able to speak the language was an immense bonus for the 5 years that I was in France.
But that's quite impressive, and I'll get back to this, because you were actually working in English on a daily basis.
Not really. It was to some extent also French, because at the end of the day, the work of the office was advising American, Anglo-Saxon clients, if you like, Anglo-American clients on French law. If you're coming to do work in France, you needed to have a clear understanding of French corporate law. You have to interact with French lawyers to do so. Not all of them spoke English, so you have to. So getting the language, and the fourth aspect of it too, which has proved invaluable, is that just as English-speaking West Africans congregate in London, French-speaking Africans congregate in Paris.
Yes.
So it gave me an opportunity to get to know people from Mali, from Côte d'Ivoire, from the then Upper Volta, Burkina Faso today, from Cameroon, whom I would otherwise never have met had I not actually lived in Paris, and developed some very strong relations with some, especially the lawyers, Alioune Badoussen in Senegal, Dominique Kanga in Côte d'Ivoire. These were quite well-known French Francophone lawyers in Senegal and Côte d'Ivoire, who became personal friends of mine as a result of the stay in Paris. Jean-Gabi Senghor, all of these people became very good friends of mine. And it helped. It helped in the reintegration in West Africa and also in being able to move around the area.
We'll carry on talking about French. We certainly need a little sip of water, so we'll take just a very short break. And don't go anywhere, we will be back. You will, in the meantime, be able to look at the documentaries. We will show you what we do in France when it comes to work and business, and what we do here in Ghana, the French companies, and what the French embassy does to support Ghanaian companies as well. And then we will be back.
9 out of 10 workers in France are employees. Since 2003, the national working hours are 35 hours per week, but are flexible in terms of how they are implicated. According to OECD, French work productivity is yet one of the highest in Europe. Lunch breaks can be business lunch, a sandwich in the office, a gathering at the office canteen, or a lunch at home. Some French companies provide lunch vouchers, which are particularly funded by their employees. Large companies have work councils, chaired by union members who manage funds provided by the company. They offer their employees and families vouchers or discounts for holidays, cinema, theatre and theme parks. Public policy requires companies to refund part of the cost of their employees' transportation. All employees enjoy 5 weeks paid holiday and a minimum of 11 bank holidays a year. Most offices, businesses and shops in France close for a public holiday. However, some supermarkets and public services like hospitals remain open. All workers and employees contribute to a pension fund in which they are entitled to receive the pension at the end of their career if they are eligible. France has multiple and complex pension systems that the government is trying to reform. Now let's see what the French do here in Ghana. The French embassy supports business networks in Ghana through its economic department and the public bank for Parco. The France-Ghana Chamber of Commerce supports French companies setting up in Ghana and advises Ghanaian companies wishing to export or set up in France. It gathers 150 members, among which 65 French companies.
And we try to engage more and more companies to increase the foreign direct investment in this country so we can participate actively in the economy of Ghana. We were a bilateral chamber. The bilaterality consists in assisting the Ghanaian companies that wish to access the market of France. We've spotted quite a few opportunities for them in the sector of agro-processing. So we are trying to support them this year to export towards France and cover like that the bilaterality aspect of the chamber. And we will continue, obviously, being as active as possible in all sectors of the economy, so as to increase the foreign direct investment in the country and making sure that the French companies really understand what represents this market for them. There are a lot of opportunities, there are challenges as well, but the opportunities are good. It's a country which economy is very stable. The political environment, as we all know, is one of the stablest in Africa. And we do believe that it's a country in which our French companies can very safely invest.
French companies in Ghana employ more than 30,000 Ghanaians and provide business to about 60,000 subcontractors. They contribute to industrialize the country and add values to the communities. French companies in Ghana have strong corporate social responsibility policies that bring social and environmental value to their communities. They also implement strong health and security policy, HSE, to ensure companies have the best working conditions, such as cable mentor nexons.
So we are sitting here in this beautiful garden because there's something that no one actually knows, is that a port is not only about cranes, technology, facilities, but MPS is also doing a lot for the community. And actually you were planting trees?
We are a green terminal, besides, I will tell you about the trees, but basically everything you saw today is electric. We don't
environment friendly.
We don't burn, yes.
You don't burn coal, you don't
nothing.
burn diesel.
We try to keep our carbon footprint as low as we can. Mm-hmm. Now, planting trees, the coastline of Tama was full of coconut trees. Mm-hmm. We lost that to erosion. At some stage I was telling somebody, look, there used to be a lot of trees on the coastline and I wish we can restore it. And then we said, actually, let's go and do that. So we planted the first 500 and they survived. 500. Yes, and they went and planted another 500. Amazing. So now we have 1,000 trees planted.
How big are they now?
They're just still,
so they're going to grow.
In the one lot 2 years old, and now we have another lot 6 months old.
Okay,
so
are you planning to do that regularly?
Regularly. Every year we're going to do for every employee 1 tree. Every year.
That means you have 500 employees at the moment?
It's true.
And do you intend to have more?
We will have more, and we will plant more, and we will continue to plant until the end of time.
In this beautiful garden, I also have a wonderful tortoise. I think she's hiding. Well, I say she. I don't know if it's he or a she, but she's a tortoise. And I hear that you're doing a lot for tortoises, but the sea ones.
Yes.
What are you doing with them?
Well, when we started the project, we realized that we have like a couple of kilometers that we will occupy. Actually, we will share that with the sea mammals, and turtles in particular. And we put a team to study who comes there on that beach. And we realized that they don't just come to our beach, but they come along the coastline. So we have commissioned a team to go and walk on daily basis at various areas from our port all the way west to Pram Pram, Uningo, and see any sign of a nest and dig it and bring the nest to the hatchery and then control it to be hatched in a healthy way and in an equal gender, so we have more female turtles into the sea. And much to our surprise...
So you're nursing turtles' eggs?
Nursing turtle eggs in a nursery and releasing it to the wild, securing their actually release into the wild. And the shocking statistics was that we so far released 16,000 turtles
Really?
into the sea. 16
So
from
that's more than would have actually been alive if they had stayed in the sand, right?
certainly the success rate probably 10%.
Really?
20% in the wild. We had a success rate more than 60 to 70%.
The French bank Société Générale supports Ghanaian businesses and SMEs. The SG Home of Business Centre gathers in one unique site all the possible services a company needs to start and thrive. The bank is strongly committed to facilitating access to credit for SMEs, which is the cornerstone of African economies.
We support also the public and the private sector. We have been here, for example, financing the Volta River Authority, Ghana Airport in a syndicated loan under the SFG. And we are also supported, for example, Get Fund, among other banks. We have also financed industries like cemeteries, like agribusiness industries in Ghana under 1D1F. SMEs are in the heart of our strategy. We are particularly supporting them in terms of financing. We have developed a partnership with Proparco, which is a private branch of AFD, Agence Française de Développement, which support with a guarantee to allow us increase our capabilities to support the small and medium enterprises in Ghana. We are doing also short-term facilities. We have particularly two distinguished solutions, which are the factoring and the leasing for these small-scale companies. If I can tell about one major example we have supported recently is Premium Food Company. It has been commissioned by His Excellency, the President Nana Akufo-Addo. We have recently sponsored one of the major events on the SDG program, which is the country financing roadmap, held also recently in June in Ghana. Under our strategy on the SMEs, we have developed in 2018-19 the SG Home of Business, which is an area dedicated for SMEs, clients or non-clients, providing free service for all the SMEs who want to get advice for free regarding a certain number of topics which are important for them, which could be linked to HR or accounting or strategy, business development, locally or internationally. All those advisory services have been built with 18 partners, public and private partners in Ghana, to allow us giving this advisory and to help the growth of the economy by also growing the awareness and the skills of our SMEs.
Choose Africa is a French initiative implemented by Proparco, an institution part of the AFD group in favor of SMEs and startups in Africa. 2.5 billion euros is scheduled to be invested with loans or equity in the year 2022. Many projects in Ghana have been supported. France, through the French Employment Agency and its project Migrations, has set up in Ghana in order to allow all Ghanaians equal access to this legal professional mobility service free of charge. France works with new institution, state interest and government authority to implement public companies' good governances.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Welcome back to Touch of France. I hope you enjoyed the documentaries. I'm here with His Excellency, Mr. President Nana Akufo-Addo, President of Ghana. This is a blessing. Thank you so much for having me. And we were having a conversation about France and about French, and you were mentioning the fact that speaking French was important. How can I convince the Ghanaian people that speaking French is important?
A lot of it will always be a function of trade. And increasingly, especially with both the development of the community, the ECOWAS community economic space, trade liberalization, the customs union, and then now with the bigger one, the Continental Free Trade Area, which is going to then focus so much more on intra-regional trade. I think as a necessary consequence, the language will have to be a determinant of that, and it will be a very important incident of our capacity to trade effectively. But as people say quite rightly, we're having to forget that the borders of our country are inhabited by the same people on both sides of the border. They don't have any difficulty communicating with their equivalents on the other side. But nevertheless, as the trade becomes more and more formalized, I think that the necessity for both sides, both the French-speaking as well as the English-speaking people, to be able to exchange direct information in the languages that they speak is going to be almost irresistible and very important.
Do you think you will reach a point when you apply in a company for a job, when you're looking for a job, having French on your CV will be as crucial as having English on your CV when you apply in France?
I think that, of course, as Ghana's export potential, capacity to export its products, especially value-added products, increases and intensifies. Yes, the Ghanaian companies will be looking to populate their sales departments, their international sales departments, export departments with people who have the facility in the language. I can see that coming very easily. And in any event, the greater the links, the stronger the integration, and you're talking about links of language, of culture, of blood. All these are very important links that enable people to be able to find living in the same space.
How easy was it for you to learn French?
You're living in a country. Your friends are all from there. You live within French social circles. You have no choice.
You pick it up.
You have to pick it up. It's as simple as that. And I think within 6 months of being in Paris, I could make myself understood, and I could also follow serious conversations in the language, and it grew from there.
Well, that's quite
amazing.
amazing.
1 or 2 French people of your, how do I put it, gender, do I say?
Women.
Yes.
Oh yes, this kind of teaching. I see. Yes.
It helps.
Oh, it helps. Yeah, certainly. Yes, that's probably well, they say French is the language of love, so indeed that's probably the best way to learn. Okay, so but there's a different vocabulary than the business vocabulary, of course. Yeah, so it widens the prospect. Oh, I get that. But then, okay, so that might be the reason why I haven't caught any tree yet.
Well, maybe.
But more seriously, I realized that every Ghanaians I've met who speak French speak perfect French. And most of the French who try and learn other languages are not so good. So at other languages. Would you say that because you speak so many local languages, which are actually languages, with their grammar, with their different vocabulary, the brain is probably more sponges to catch up and pick up different languages?
I mean, yes, I have no doubt that the historical and cultural context for us as Ghanaians must have a lot to do with it, because you grew up in Ghana, especially those of us who grew up in the city here in Accra, speaking the language of the Ga people who are the indigenous of Accra came naturally, speaking your own Akan, or tree origin, obviously in the house. That's also the language of so that you find lots and lots and lots of Ghanaians who are automatically polyglot.
As a foreigner, that's one of the magic of this country, is that you have managed to keep all your differences all your specificities, this beautiful patchwork languages, traditions, culture, and yet unite as a country.
Yes,
and that is amazing. And of course, the welcoming of the Ghanaian people, I experience it every day. And because they've shared so much with me, that's what the whole show was also about, trying to share back and give a bit about the French culture, lift a little corner of a curtain about the French culture. I'm sure you know the Marseillaise, the French national anthem.
Okay, yes, I do.
So I'm not asking you to sing it because your team would obviously shoot me, and I know they're ready to do so. But so my question is, would you know what the Ghanaian anthem, the first words would be in French?
God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make her greater so. Que Dieu bénisse notre patrie, le Ghana, et ronde notre nation grande et forte. Quelque chose comme ça.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And your anthem is full of hope. Ours was obviously a war song. Ours
a revolutionary
song.
Yeah.
So what would for our viewers be Allons enfants de la patrie, le jour de gloire est arrivé. What would that be in English or in Twi, whatever? But you know how
in English.
Yeah.
Arise, children of the fatherland. Our day of glory is at hand or near.
Is arrived, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Well, then the rest is more bloody kind of. Yeah, it's very. It's a war. It's a war.
No, but
song.
but at the same time, it's very inspiring. It's.
I like the tune. I like the tune.
The tune is excellent.
We've had debates about changing the words, but I like the tune. Yeah. And I must say, hearing your personal national anthem played when you're overseas is always a very emotional moment.
Yes, it is indeed.
It is. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Merci infiniment.
Merci beaucoup pour l'invitation.
Thank you. Thanks for talking to me. Meda c'est pas. That's still the most I know about Twi. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it very much.
And thanks for playing the game. Okay. Dear viewers, stay with us because we will have the quiz that you all wait about. And I'm not having the quiz with Mr. President because he will know the answer and he will give it away. So we'll have it afterwards, after the break. Please stay with us. Welcome back on Touch of France. We just had a very interesting conversation with Mr. President Nana Akufo-Addo in Jubilee House. You heard him say that going to have an experience in France was an amazing asset for the rest of his career. It taught him French, and it was also an experience to get to know multilateral relations and all sorts of countries that actually gather in Paris. So you may wonder, what does it take to go and work in France? If you have a business and you want to export to France, if you want to develop in France, how can you do? Let me ask our economic attaché, Olivier. Olivier, you work with the embassy?
Yes, I do.
And you are in charge of companies, helping companies. So tell us, is it possible for a company, a Ghanaian company, who would like to export to France or to settle down in France? Is that possible? How is that possible?
Yes, of course it's possible. And I think that I would give some advice to them. First of all, you know, we've got a Chamber of Commerce, the French Chamber of Commerce here in Ghana, in Accra.
It's actually French-Ghanaian, actually,
exactly,
right?
French-Ghanaian. So they can help both French company to settle down here in Accra and Ghanaian company to go to France, to know the market, to know what kind of product they could put then to...
Okay, is it easy? What does it take? I mean, when you arrive in France, if you want to thrive in France, are there areas where they would have more chances to improve and to make a success?
In fact, the French are very fond of African product. You know, if you go to Paris, you can see many people using French African food, using African textile and clothes.
We like wax. Do we like wax?
Of course, wax, but also every textile which are made here in Accra.
So, if you want to settle down in France and to find the good market,
First of all, just get in touch with people who are already here in France, and they could give you the good advice and the good product to send there.
Is it important to know how to pitch your product?
Yes, of course, but as I said previously, yeah, the French Chamber of Commerce should tell you, well, you know, we have not some kind of product this way, just try to test your own product there.
Okay. And so I'm very often asked about the question of visas, but if you are a talented Ghanaian, like an engineer or someone with a very dedicated skill, is there a space or a dedicated path to go to France?
Yes, you've got a special way to go there. You come to the embassy and you will have some advice to go there. Yes, of course.
Are you the right contact?
Yes, I am, but the persons and the team, which is the best, dedicated to those kind of thing, is the French Chamber of Commerce. Just do that. We've got they are part of the team, French team export, and they can help French company coming in Ghana, but also Ghanaian company to go to France.
Okay, we heard about France, President Macron announcing 2.5 billion for Africa, for investments and support of Ghanaian companies. So who are the persons to talk to when you're in a Ghanaian company, an SME, and you would like maybe to increase your capital and you need equity or you need a loan? Who should you contact?
Yes, on the financial side of this kind of stuff, you must go to the French Agence of Development, Agence Française de Développement, and inside the French Agence of Development, you must go to Propaco, which is the subsidiary of the French Agence of Development, dedicated to financing SMEs here in Ghana. And they are the people who can tell you, well, how could you just pitch your project, and then we can have advice to you to how to develop it, or we can try the way to finance it both directly and through a Ghanaian bank. And we are also in touch with the Ghanaian authority, you know, the Exim Bank, the Bank of Ghana, and we can find a way to how to help you.
How easy. Thank you so much. I'm sure our viewers didn't know. So remember, if you are a Ghanaian company, you want to go to France, contact the Chamber of Commerce, France, Ghana, here in Accra. And if you are a Ghanaian company wanting to thrive here in Ghana and you need funds, you need support, then contact AFD, Proparco. All the contacts are on the website of the French Embassy. Thank you so much, Olivier, and we will be back soon for the quiz. Welcome back in Touch of France. We had an amazing conversation. We know everything about business. You heard that the president was in France. He's fluently French and has been doing business and worked with French businesses. So the quiz for today is, what is the French expression for doing business? Is it 1, faire des affaires? Is it 2, avoir des affaires? Or is it 3, être en affaires? 1, 2 or 3, faire des affaires, avoir des affaires, être en affaires. If you think you got the right answer, you text 1, 2 or 3 at 1788 on your mobile phone, and you can win a dinner for 2 in a French restaurant in Accra, La Chaumière. So please jump on your phones and text 1, 2 or 3, 1788. What's the French for doing business? Dear viewers, thank you so much for having been with us today for this very special episode with the President, Nana Akufo-Addo. What a conversation, what an episode. For businessmen, for viewers, you know everything about doing business, France, Ghana, working in France, what we do with the Ghanaian companies to support you, and it's always a pleasure to do so. Let me acknowledge our dear sponsors: MPS, Meridian Port Services, Decathlon, Silver Star Ghana, Air France, L'Oréal, and for this specific episode, Société Générale, the Chamber of Commerce France Ghana, the restaurant Le Tandem, and La Chaumière, where you can have a dinner if you win the quiz. This was a very special episode. It was the last one from season 1. I had a fantastic time with you. Thank you so much for your loyalty, for watching, for your feedback. We took it into account when we prepared season 2. Season 2 is coming soon with brand new sequences thanks to your feedback, your comments. Until then, I say au revoir, goodbye, à très vite, see you very soon. Thank you so much. Bye. What is the word in French to say to party?
Fêter.
Hello.
Salut.
Matché.
Bonjour.
Aiko.
Merci beaucoup.
It was revealing.
What kind of image did you have of France?
It's always the Eiffel Tower.
It was educative.
Men, especially in France actually, they all think pampering is for ladies.
It is actually a man's thing.
It was inspiring.
I'm a true artist that believe in my creative work. Regardless of whatever that comes with the limitations and people can understand you, I still feel like if emotions are in it, people can connect to it.
It was fun and entertaining.
How would you say, hello, my name is Bolare and I'm a TV presenter?
Hello, mon nom Bolare, télé-présentateur.
We're doing Chinese right now.
You liked season 1? You will love season 2. Touch of France TV show. Coming soon.